In episode 3, Quiet and John take off, and at first they're getting along great because they're catching up. Quiet is telling John all about what she was up to in the 7 months where they weren't together when she was just a doll. But eventually the conversation does get to John and his sister and the awkwardness of their relationship. And John's like, look, I just don't know what to say to her. So Quiet tricks him. She makes him think that there's something wrong with roadkill. She pulls off to the side of the road, and as soon as John gets out, she locks the door and says, go talk to your sister, because Krista is in the car behind them. And about 3 seconds later, Krista pulls up, she kicks Ashley out of the car, and her and John take off. Now, as for Quiet, she's finally got the car to herself, which means that she can jam out to some all-time bangers. I'm talking Michelle Branch, Everywhere to Me. It's a classic. But as she's singing it, she hears somebody scream from the trunk, can you please shut up? And that person is Mayhem. Mayhem had snuck into the trunk of Roadkill, and she just couldn't take Quiet's horrible singing anymore, so she made it known that she was in the trunk. And at first, you can imagine, Quiet's pretty pissed off. She left this girl with the dolls, expecting her to be with the dolls, but Mayhem seemed to have other ideas. And she tells Quiet, you don't realize I'm the best driver out here. And yeah, Quiet has a hard time believing that. Really hard time. It also doesn't help with the fact that Mayhem seems to be a pathological liar, so Quiet decides to put her to the test. She takes her to an abandoned parking lot and lets her drive Roadkill. And Mayhem is all talk. I mean, big game. But when it comes to actually driving the vehicle, she can't. She doesn't really know how to drive stick. But this girl has some balls on her because she tries to pull on Quiet what Quiet pulled on John. As soon as Quiet gets out of the car, Mayhem tries to take off, but the fact that she can't drive the vehicle stops her from doing that. Now, it's at this point that you'd imagine maybe Quiet would just have enough of Mayhem, kick her out of the car for good, and take off, leaving her, but there's something about this girl that Quiet latches onto. Maybe she sees herself in her. Either way, instead of kicking her to the curb, she decides to actually teach her how to drive. But the fact that Mayhem spoke so highly of her skills had Quiet give Mayhem a little bit of tough love. I mean, she puts her through the ringer. She's got a gun to her head. She's yelling at her. And it gets to the point where Quiet can't take it anymore, and she screams back at her and actually gets out of the vehicle and gets back in the trunk. That's how frazzled Quiet had her. Eventually, Quiet kind of apologizes to Mayhem. She does feel bad about how she treated her. She tells her story about how her brother taught her, and even though he wasn't the best teacher, he did keep her alive. But then Quiet asks her, why do you want to enter this tournament? It is to the death. And Mayhem tells her, I'm not scared of dying, but if I win this thing, I can wish for a better life. And that's something that Quiet can respect, so she tells her, all right, get in the front seat, let's try again. As for John and Krista, they were following Quiet, but Krista decided to make a detour. They were about to pass a place that Krista was very familiar with because their dad took her and John there all the time when they were a kid. It is a drive-in movie theater. Now, it's run down and it seems to be abandoned, but for Krista, it's a nice trip down memory lane, and she's hoping that maybe it'll jog some memories for John. Now, when they get there, John wants no parts in the movie theater. He sees red flags all over the place. He doesn't want to head in. But Krista kind of bullies him into heading in. And one of the things that they don't even notice, but will end up playing a big part of this, is the fact that the movie that's being projected is called Grimm's Dark Trip Back. Little do they know that that movie's about to become a reality. The two, however, head in. They find an abandoned vehicle. They get in. Krista starts acting like there is a movie playing, although the power is not on. And then she pulls out a joint that the two can smoke as Krista tells him about some memories, hoping to jog his own. She starts telling him what he would do when he came to the drive-thru as a kid. They start talking about the house a little bit. But eventually, this morphs into a fight between the two. John frustrated because life hasn't been easy for him, not remembering. Krista frustrated because John can't remember. And then the two get easily distracted because somebody starts shooting at them. And now they need to hide. As the two are trying to get behind some cover, they see that the person that was opening fire is a man that seems to be connected to two giant wheels coming out of the fire. It doesn't look normal at all. As they're trying to make their way from car to car, John decides to shoot at this guy whose name is Axel, but Krista accidentally gets hit pretty good in the face with a shard of glass and she's cut. They do find a hiding spot, and it seems like Axel has given up on searching for him because he actually is able to get off of the two wheels and he just starts downing some gasoline, and that gives John and Krista enough time to patch her up. One of the issues they have is they can't escape because there's some sound wave thing that is actually keeping them in. So what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to get inside and cut the power. They get inside, they start looking around for whatever is controlling the power, and that is when Krista is attacked by the mad scientist who made Axel a vehicle. He's got Krista at knife point, and he's threatening to kill her, but both John and Krista team up, and they throw this little weasel out the window. He lands on a pipe, and he dies instantly. That's going to allow Krista and John to put on the power, but before they do that, John makes it clear to Axel, hey, we just killed that mad scientist guy. Like, you're free to go. And Axel's all for that. He actually thanks them, and then he heads off. It's not too long later that Krista and John do the same thing. But Krista and John won't be the only people that run into Axel, because not too far away, as Quiet is teaching Mayhem how to drive, they get an unexpected visitor. It's Jeremy. Jeremy and Ashley were hooking up in the car, and they were attacked by Mr. Grimm, who got out of the asylum, and the first place he headed was to the graveyard to pick up his father's bike. But the thing about Mr. Grimm is when he kills somebody, it seems like he's able to take the person's soul. We don't know if he took Ashley's soul, but Jeremy was left alive, and he's running towards both Quiet and Mayhem, warning them, hey, this guy's coming, and then they see, oh, there's some guy on a bicycle. Oh, he just killed Jeremy. And now they're freaking out a little bit. That 45 minutes of training with Quiet needs to pay off quickly as they try to escape. And they are able to do that, but only because Axel comes out of nowhere and he starts fighting Mr. Grimm. That allows both Mayhem and Quiet to escape easily and leave those two to hash out their differences. A little while later, Mayhem and Quiet link up with John and Krista, who seem to be doing way better in their relationship, although they are super high. And when they let John and Krista know about this guy on the bike and then this dude on two massive wheels connected to it, Krista and John excitedly say, oh, Axel, as if they're old friends with the guy. The good news is they're just on the outskirts of Diesel City. But before they head there, Krista needs to say goodbye to Ashley and Jeremy. They weren't the best soldiers, but they were dolls nonetheless. One thing she doesn't do, though, is she doesn't bury Ashley's doll mask. And when Mayhem asks Quiet about it, Quiet explains it's just going to go to the next person who deserves to be a doll. To which Mayhem says, okay, well, when you go down, I'll keep your mask alive. They joke around a little bit more, but then they get back to the task at hand. The fact that they're on the outskirts of Diesel City, and this is where they will load up the vehicles. Thank you so much for checking out this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel and subscribing to my Patreon. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. If you left a comment, I don't get back to you. I usually don't check the comments unless they're like a super comment. Also, if you don't see the next video up on the end screen, not to worry. It'll be up in a day or two.